Right now, a politics betting site gives Gavin Newsom about the same odds of becoming president as Ron DeSantis. Think about that. Newsom isn't running. DeSantis is. And the people who bet real money on this stuff believe that DeSantis doesn't really have that good of a chance. DeSantis tacked to the right of Donald Trump on immigration, judges, Disney, LGBT, abortion, criminal justice reform. That pretty much blows up the electability arguments. And speaking of Trump, 50,000 people showed up for his rally in Pickens, South Carolina. Colby Hall is here, founding editor of Mediaite. This is really two parts here, and I'm guessing what the bigger question is, should we be talking more about the end of Ron DeSantis or the rise of Gavin Newsom?
All of the above. I mean, honestly, I think the headline really is that it's too soon to tell or really make a reasoned prediction for a variety of reasons. One, the leader on the GOP side, former President Trump, is under 2 indictments, and there are more looming. And I don't think that problem will go away. I think it's likely to get worse. His base will still support him, but the independents will probably walk away. On the other side, the presumptive leader is the incumbent, Joe Biden, who's not being primaried at all, as is tradition. And he is not getting any younger. And I'm not trying to be ageist, but he is really way slower and less quick-witted today than he was 2 or 3 years ago, as am I. But I'm not running for re-election. So I've long said, and I think I've said this to you on the show, there's a greater chance than any of us really believe that it would be none of the above. And I think DeSantis has proven not to be that likable, and Newsom is playing it really smart and just sort of like waiting in the wings and doing just enough to say, like, by the way, I'm over here in case you need a guy. So yeah, I think
in case you need a guy who's able and willing to fight, and he was everywhere from MSNBC to Sean Hannity's show. We've been talking about Gavin Newsom for a while. Here's a segment all the way back early June with George Will. Take a listen. Making all the moves to run for president without actually running for president, waiting for either President Biden to drop out between now and November or be like the famed rebound player Dennis Rodman, waiting on deck. As you can see, Newsom is never far from the Oval Office.
I think he's right that there's a not negligible chance that Joe Biden's not going to run again. And he's going to be prepared. He will have established himself as name recognition coast to coast.
All right, give us the inside scoop from the media side. Number one, is there a discussion among sort of the elite media of whether it is time to push Joe Biden out and bring in Gavin Newsom, and or a realization we need to be ready for Gavin Newsom to become the hero and the savior of the Democratic Party?
I think it's mostly the media doesn't want to give away a primary run where they can sell a lot of advertising. So it's better drama and it's better, gets more clicks if there is an underdog, right? I also feel Politico wrote an article recently that basically suggested Jack Schaefer, who's not, he's pretty independent, but a well-regarded person inside the Beltway, said Democrats should primary Biden because it would be good for Biden, because, you don't want to have to sit out in the playoffs and get to the championship game and be flat. And he could use a little practice. I don't know if he is going to get primaried. I also feel that Newsom was really smart to go on Hannity, and that was a good hour of TV for both Hannity and Newsom because they were convivial, they were respectful, and they had a good debate. And that's something that you don't see very often on TV anymore.
Yeah, Newsom's willing to go to red states. He's willing to take the fight. He's willing to show up in places that are tough. And look, Joe Biden's not sitting down with Bill O'Reilly anytime soon. I think we can all agree on that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. All right, Colby, good to see you. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.